reuse, recycle.
I want to cut my hair like Natalie Portman in Lucy in the Sky. And when you watch it, you'll know what I'm talking about.
When you watch it, you're gonna know.
Because it's actually, when I first saw it, I was like, that is a terrible haircut. And then by the end of the movie, I was like, I want to cut my hair like that.
I can't remember if I just felt like I watched the whole movie in the trailer or if I watched that movie.
And I'm here to tell you that if you watched the trailer, you did.
Yeah. We're off to a
Which
great
is
start.
why it was kind of shitty.
We'll just start right here. Hello.
Okay. Hello.
Your headphones on.
Put your headphones on. Oh, it's good to be back. Ooh-wee.
Well, guess what?
In so many ways.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Lisa.
And we're back together in person already.
Amazing.
Wait, what happened?
What?
Okay, so at the end of season 1, we said that Lisa was going back to China.
I did.
And that she would likely be back during a break.
Which is now.
And this would have been now. But that she'd be living there essentially until, what? June?
July.
And that we'd be trying to do episodes remotely while she was there.
Change of plans.
Well, we didn't need to do that, it turns out. She's back when it would be a break for her. But what happened, Lisa?
I didn't like it anymore.
It kind of sucked.
It was the worst.
So it wasn't what... you went back because of the good time that you had at your last school.
Yes.
And that situation was great. And you thought this would probably be even better and I'll get paid more money, right?
Exactly. I just thought it would be just all I wanted and more money. And it was terrible and not worth it. So...
She chose to come home early.
That's the end of that story.
Oh, is it?
Now the siblings are back in Zion. The Sibs and the Z Sibs.
The Sizzes.
Sizzes.
Well, she brought back a little
gift for you.
Gift.
It's
but is it though?
I don't really know.
Yeah,
You're about to tell me.
Explain what this is.
So I wanted to bring Daniel something from China that he would enjoy. And we were doing a little bit of a sober January, but
For most of it.
It's a long month. And this Baijiu is what they drink in China. This special white spirit. I believe it's distilled from sorghum. This particular bottle is 500 milliliters and it's about 52% alcohol by volume, and it will kick your ass. So I thought, what better thing to bring back for him than this cultural experience in a bottle? And it singes my nose hairs just smelling it. Hence the need for some cocktail ingredients, because drinking it by itself is quite the job.
Okay, so I'm going to taste this for the first time.
Okay.
I mean, I've had
Cheers,
some strong
brother.
shit before. Cheers, sister. No, okay.
Oh yeah, it burns quite a bit. It's a little bit more smooth than the first time I had it. Like the first sip I ever took, I could not swallow. It was so spirity.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot. It's astringent, but
it is astringent.
It does have a flavor.
Yeah, it's not completely
It's
tasteless.
just, it is high octane.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you think you could, like, if you had to, could you bottoms up that whole thing? That entire shot?
If I had to, I really don't want to.
No, it like I still feel it.
Burning.
It's like clearing things out. Yeah. I mean, whew. Goodbye bronchitis.
Clean your pipes.
Oh, whoa! Oh! I feel like I'm drinking rubbing alcohol.
It's not quite that bad because it does have some sort of flavor to it. But yeah, wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's put something else in that.
Yep. You're like, I'm done with this shot.
Hey.
The first time I was ever like properly drunk was in China.
Really?
Yeah.
All that rum and...
With red wine, actually. No, it was last year.
Oh.
I couldn't feel my feet. I was like, this is strange.
Hey, whoa. What's happening?
Whoa. So there you go. There's a little bit of China for you.
Okay. Let's put some...
or a lot of China.
Put it in some other things. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah. That might be more palatable.
Oh, it definitely cuts through, though. Wow.
There's no mask in that stuff.
It really isn't. Mm-mm. What does it have? It reminds me a little bit.
Yeah, what would you
absinthe.
say it's adjacent to? Oh, really?
It's got...
Isn't absinthe that green stuff?
It can be... I think it can
comes
be
in
green.
purple or
Or it can be clear.
Oh, okay.
It's usually like it's usually clear, but it gets cloudy.
My friend was telling me about absinthe.
I've only had it a few times.
Sounds lethal.
This has just like a hint of that black licorice
Oh, like a anise?
taste.
Is that what that is?
That absinthe has.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And it always comes through.
No covering that up.
All right. Well, here's to our spirits.
Ooh, wee. Nourish and strengthen our spirits. Yeah, you're right.
Wow.
There's no masking that.
I barely taste what we mixed it with. Like if I handed that to somebody, I would say, identify what this taste is.
Yes.
But
No idea.
it's what?
Hey, what? Yeah, I mixed it with Sprite. That's the only thing I've ever mixed it with before. And, there was a lot more Sprite than this, and it was a lot weaker version of this. So it just tasted like I was drinking Sprite. But yeah, this is a different story.
Yeah.
And you can just get this in the grocery store. It's very cheap.
In China.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know you're just dying for more of this.
More, please.
Yes, can't get enough of it.
Okay, so we just wanted, Lisa just flew in today.
Yep.
She's going to live in my house now. So
It's a dream come true. I said I would only move home if this was possible. So.
yeah, moving back to our parents' house
Nope. Not happening.
wouldn't really be.
Not
Worth it.
ideal. But the opportunity presented
Yeah,
itself.
it worked out.
It was meant to be.
If there's such a thing.
If there's a God, this is what he wanted to happen.
Yeah, that's true. So we'll have much more ability to do this
It'll be
whenever we
much
choose.
easier.
I figured we would just sit down tonight, catch up, talk about what you've been doing and how you've been thinking about things the last few months. When we recorded the first season of our show, that was back in August.
Wow.
And it is mid-January now.
Wow. We're in a
Wow.
whole new year, brother. Wow.
A whole new decade, dude.
Okay. For the record, I don't hate China.
Yeah, I don't
I still
get that.
I still love it. It's just
That
that
particular situation.
it was not a match.
Yeah.
Not a match.
They had you doing way more than
Too much.
you understood you would be doing
Yeah.
and that you really shouldn't have been responsible to do.
No, and it's very different to be a homeroom teacher versus just a subject teacher.
Mhm.
Where last year I would show up, teach for 40 minutes at a time, and then leave.
Mhm.
I wouldn't have to deal with bloody noses and shitty pants and urine on the floor
Oh, gosh.
and all sorts of disasters. And I wasn't with the kids all day long,
Yeah.
I don't even like having a dog follow me around.
Yeah.
I'm just not I'm not a person that loves to be needed that way.
Mhm.
I'm just like, could you take care of yourself, you small 7-year-old child? Like,
Figure it out.
figure it out. Get your shit together. They're very cute, but they need someone who enjoys teaching them,
Yeah.
So I'm glad they have that for the next semester.
Mhm.
And I said, bye-bye.
See ya.
Lived in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that's something that I didn't really understand you'd
like
be doing.
An hour outside of the city. I didn't realize how desolate it would be. Literally just apartment buildings being built from the ground up. And I lived like a 10-minute walk from the school, and all I would see was construction workers and security guards. That was it.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
Really good times. I still got to do some fun stuff, and, every day wasn't as bad as some of them, but needless to say, I'm really happy to be home.
One thing you did that you told me you were doing after you had already made the plans.
And you're like, why?
And I was, why would you do that right now?
Not so happy with me.
Was go to Hong Kong. So why did you do that?
Well, I've wanted to go to Hong Kong for a while, and, their situation has been going on, years.
Well, yeah, but,
and
these protests in particular.
The protests have ebbed and flowed over the last decade. In 2014, people were protesting for 3 months straight on the streets.
Oh.
I didn't realize that until I watched that BBC documentary I told you about.
It seems like I was hearing about something or seeing posts about it every day for a few months. And then for the last month or so, I haven't seen anything. It's kind of gotten
quieter. Yeah. They had a really big protest on Halloween, and then I was there Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and they said that no protests were scheduled, but clearly my source of information was inaccurate because the protest went right down the street that I was staying at. So
I figured you would run into it somehow.
I figured if it was going to happen, it would be in central Hong Kong, but no, it happened in the shopping tourist district that we were staying in.
Didn't you say something was on fire outside your hotel or something?
Yeah, they had built barricades and lit them on fire. And my friend and I were having a drink by the harbor, and we saw them start. They started at the harbor and they walked down Nathan Road where our accommodation was. And we kind of stood and watched them go by, and there were tons of people. And I didn't know how long it was going to last or where they were going. I just thought that they were going to maybe chant, just have a peaceful protest. I didn't know what it was going to turn into. But we kind of watched and went and sat away, and we figured we wouldn't see him again. But by the time we had had dinner and then we're about to go home, they were still coming.
Whoa.
There were that many people an hour later. And we started to get a little bit nervous because we saw people running away from what was happening on the main road. There was some kind of contention between an individual and one of the guards, some shoving. And then we watched them go by for a while. And then when the police started to come, that's when she and I split and went upstairs to our room because we didn't want to see any more. We didn't want to be any closer to it than we needed to be.
Yeah.
It went on for quite some time. And then the next day you could see the damage that had been done, bashed in traffic lights and
damn
graffiti and Free Hong Kong. And I saw some pretty aggressive taglines towards mainland China. The word Nazi was used. Yeah. It's not very friendly. I think there was another protest the next day after we left. But yeah, it's been pretty quiet since then. I survived.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I was a little nervous.
Yeah, I know. But it was so cool.
But I'm glad you had the experience.
It was so cool. I loved it.
Yeah, I definitely
wanted to get a feel for what was happening down there, and I definitely feel for them. Another reason I wanted to leave, honestly, I just feel like political tensions are rising.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have been for quite a while. I'm not actually sure that anything's changed so much as I became more aware of it.
Yeah.
Towards the beginning of my time there, this time around, I watched The Handmaid's Tale. And it broke my brain
Yeah.
I've never read the book that it's based on. I'd like to. But combined with the governmental, commentary of that, and living in China, and then leaving the church and watching this right-wing government take over the United States, I freaked out.
You're not the only one.
Yeah. No. So you've seen that whole show so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did it freak you out at all? Did you think about at what point you would want to leave the United States? I mean, we didn't leave after Trump was elected, so at what point would we leave?
Yeah, there was a few days where it was like, if I could leave, where would I go?
Canada.
If this gets as bad as it seems it could, it's hard to think of uprooting yourself.
Yeah.
And then you got to consider: is it really that bad, or is it just not my ideal?
Right.
I mean, has my day-to-day life really changed all that much? So far, not really.
Right.
But I'm so much more aware.
Yeah.
Of things and how bad they seem to get just in everyone's face. And there's enough people who just say, well, I want him to be president anyway. That it just keeps, and then there's so much of it that it's hard to not become almost desensitized to it. This is just the norm. He's just lying all the time.
We all know who he is.
Yeah. He's lying to everyone all of the time, and people are constantly showing that, almost in real time. People are just like, no, it's a lie. It's a lie. This is not the truth.
The lie is a lie.
Yeah.
And that's very upsetting. I feel like we need to make a game plan. If X, Y, and Z happen, then we pick up and move north.
Yeah. Every place has its own set of issues.
Yeah, exactly.
There's political unrest and bullshit in a lot of places right now.
Yeah, it's true. As far as it affecting daily life, I feel like the fact that we are so inundated by it does affect our daily life mentally.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I think it has really bothered me to the point that I chose coming back to this place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that does say something.
From a place I felt was even worse.
Yeah, it is.
It's
for sure. It is.
I love China, and the people are not the government.
Oh,
but I cannot shake the feeling that I'm being listened to, that I could say something that could get me in trouble, that I disagree with a lot of their maneuvers and their politics.
Yep.
It's dicey. What a time to start paying attention to the news, when it's the worst it's ever been.
You kind of, if you care at all, you kind of can't ignore it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I feel like you said, there's so much of it. I don't know that I become desensitized. I just feel so hopeless.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what to do.
It's this bad, and it's constantly this bad, and yet it just keeps coming, and the people who could do something about it don't seem to be able or willing to do something about it.
Yeah.
So it just keeps coming.
Yeah.
I know that there are people in Republican government who don't like him, who don't like that he's their representative, but they just have to play ball.
Mm-hmm.
But
for the sake of their team?
Why?
What are they fighting for?
If it's not what you want, then fucking stand up for something. And there are a few who do, and whenever they do, it's really awesome.
It's rare.
But a lot of them are just kissing his ass. And it's so gross.
It is really disturbing.
In the last few months, how are you thinking about your religion and thinking about all the big
stuff, questions,
the mortality, the anxiety.
I gotta say, after the first year in China, I was feeling really good. Like I came home and we had a great summer. Mm-hmm. We had some awesome conversations. We started this.
Yeah.
I felt like I was, bringing my head out of the sand. Things were looking up. And then I don't know what exactly was the factor that set that all in reverse. But something about being away the second time, living in conditions that weren't ideal, that were not what I expected, that were isolating. I just, I thought about what I would say in this, on our show to explain like what happened. But I don't know what it was, but I just like completely unraveled mentally. I just feel like I was making so much progress and then took so many steps back. And it was really actually very frightening. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was The Handmaid's Tale or
it didn't
just
help, I'm sure.
Like missing my family.
Yeah.
Paying attention to the news and realizing what a shit show all of this is. Maybe it was like a lack of meditation that I had been trying to be, more regular with. But it was real rough. And I am feeling better now that I'm home. Like I started feeling better after I officially decided that I was not coming back.
Yeah. I could tell
to China. I started thinking a little bit more hopefully. And I don't know how long this experience is going to take. I guess I just expected it to be easier and to be shorter. And I know that everybody's timeline is different.
Yeah.
I just thought because I was on such a nice trajectory that I was going to maintain that. I didn't expect to crash again.
Yeah.
Almost as hard as the first time. So, in answer to your question,
yeah,
it's not going well.
It's not great.
It's not. Things have been better. Gotta say. I mean, did that come off? I mean, you and I still spoke every day that I was gone.
Yeah.
Did that come across as like me spiraling?
I wouldn't call it spiraling, but I definitely recognized that it was compounding.
Yeah.
All the factors.
Yeah.
In that situation were compounding, and it was weighing on you.
I think the realization that I wasn't doing what I want to do career-wise.
Yeah, you thought you were.
I thought I was. And maybe in some ways it's good I went back because I wouldn't have had that realization had I stuck with a similar type of job as I had before. Now I know I don't want to teach kids, at least not right now.
Yeah.
Because as a first grade teacher, half of what you're doing is just teaching them rules.
Yeah.
You're teaching them how to be a student.
It's the babysitting that sucks.
Yeah. And my personality.
And the reality of them being children.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the fact is that half of my time is just spent trying to get them in a position to listen.
Yeah. Sit down, shut up.
Yeah. It's just classroom management. And of course, a lot of teaching is. Yeah. Will always be management.
Oh, yeah. All the way up through college.
Exactly. Every classroom has, the need to be controlled to some degree. But as a first grade teacher, I do not want to exert that much control over other people. I don't like telling people what to do. I don't like bossing them around. I have never been such a bitch as I have been over the last 5 months. I have developed the ability to be so direct And I feel bad for maybe how harsh I was. But I know every day I was just like, I don't like experiencing this much rage.
Yeah.
Like it was so foreign to me.
It's uncomfortable.
It's like, I cannot handle my emotions. Why am I so upset about the fact that this 7-year-old doesn't understand what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Not his fault.
Right.
You know, they're under an enormous amount of pressure.
It's definitely different for them.
And I'm just like, I can't be a homeroom teacher in China when they expect me to get them to be robots. You know, that's not what I think a life should be like.
Good.
But it's so competitive there. I mean, what other option do you have?
So many people.
And so the cognitive dissonance I was experiencing was just really painful because I knew it was my job. But at the same time, what do the rules even mean? Why does it matter that you're sitting down right now?
Mm-hmm.
Why does it matter that you have to raise your hand to speak? I realize that, you need to maintain order to be able to learn in a classroom environment. But at the same time, like, I couldn't stop looking at the situation from above, like metacognitively, and just like, I am way, way, way out here with the whole meaning of life thing.
Yeah.
And to teach 7-year-olds in a first grade classroom, you need to be right there.
Yeah.
You know, like,
be here now.
Be here now. That's all that matters. And I'm like, but we're all gonna die. Why am I telling you about, taking care of the earth when we're gonna blow ourselves up? Probably by the time you're 30. You know what I mean? Like, I can't teach 7-year-olds because we're doomed. So I have no hope for them.
You're not going to be okay.
We're not okay, people.
Especially you.
Especially you guys. Especially you, Alvin.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Okay, so then what's your intention now that you're here?
Yeah, so you and I were having a conversation as we do.
As we do.
And, I was telling you everything I just said. And we were tossing around possibilities of what to do next. How I could either fix the situation I was in so that it was more bearable, move to a different apartment, any kind of adjustment we could make. And I just kept realizing it wasn't worth it to me to make the effort to change it. I just wanted to leave. And I knew I didn't want to move home.
Yeah.
That wasn't an option. And then it so happened that I could move in here with you.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And then I said, what if I just go back to school? And you were like, why don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why not?
It was literally as casual as that. I was like, you know what? You're right. So I applied. And now I have an interview.
Yeah.
So
it seems
promising.
Seems good. Yeah.
If it doesn't go well, we're gonna edit this whole conversation out. But I think going back to school, getting a master's in liberal arts.
Whether or not you go there, there's definitely other options around here.
Exactly. I think I need something to work towards again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my whole life was lived towards a goal.
Yeah.
And now literally
Those
every goal has been smattered and smashed and removed.
Those goals were stupid.
Those goals were dumb. I gotta get some new goals.
Yeah. I want to get my own damn goals.
So, yeah, I think that would be very healthy.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah. So thanks for the support.
Sure. You got it.
So what are we thinking as far as what we'll be doing together, talking about things on this here show?
Well, every now and again, I'll have a thought of a subject and I'll write it down. I have a running list of topics to explore, certainly related to the church and its doctrine and its history, and also just more philosophical and greater theological arguments and ideas and thoughts and concepts.
Right.
What I'm doing right now is reading a book by Richard Rohr called The Universal Christ, which I heard a lot of good things about, both him and this book in particular. And
Give me a synopsis.
Well, I'm only about 55 pages in, but I'm enjoying it so far. And one thing that I've started to ponder more is, obviously, whether or not Jesus was the Son of God or God himself in the flesh, it seems pretty clear that a figure, a man, existed that all of this mythology is based around. And a lot of it must be mythologized because a lot of it was written decades after he would have been alive.
Yeah.
And a lot of things have been piled on to him in the name of religion and aggrandizing this Abrahamic religion and making him the Messiah. But if a person named Jesus really lived,
do you think he did?
It doesn't seem likely that he's completely made up.
Yeah.
I mean, it was only just a little over 2,000 years ago.
Right.
If Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, was a real person who clearly was aggrandized and mythologized
and
after his life.
much older.
Yeah. Like 500 years before Christ. Yeah, I don't really have a trouble believing that
making that leap.
There was that person and all this is based around. But I definitely don't believe that he was literally the Son of God, or I certainly don't believe he was born of a virgin.
Right.
One of my questions is, did she come up with that story? Or did he?
Where did that come from?
Or did that just completely get placed upon his whole life in order to make him divine?
Yeah.
In the grander story.
I would like to know at what point that was attributed.
Yeah.
In retrospect.
It seems like it was.
Because, like you said, the Bible is more after the fact. It's all secondary.
The New Testament.
Sources, Yeah.
It wasn't really written by Mark, Paul, John, Luke.
It's the testament of those people written by someone else.
Yeah. Or who knows how many people.
Yeah.
None of this was written by Jesus. None of this is his actual verbatim
He never
words.
even
That's
read it.
Impossible.
Jesus never read the Bible.
But people read that as if it is all his words, spoken word for word. This is to the letter Jesus's record. It doesn't seem to make sense.
What you're talking about with that pattern with the Buddha and with Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Joseph Smith, it's only been
200 years?
200, let alone 2,000. And look at how much we've mythologized him.
Oh, yeah.
In such a short span of time.
Yeah.
Or I shouldn't say how much he has been.
Yes.
It's not unreasonable to assume.
Within decades. Within his lifetime.
Yeah, that's true.
That's clear.
I mean, with anyone who died a martyr for a cause, we tend to glorify them. Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King Jr.
Luther King, yeah.
It's because those people who loved him and followed him, said what they said. I'm sure out of truth and how they really felt, but, we tend to put people on a pedestal, and then as time goes on, facts become more and more hazy.
Yep.
I wasn't there. I don't know.
Right. Exactly. So what is the clearest picture we can possibly have of his life and what he was actually doing and saying? And also, how much has he been separated from even what was written down in the Gospels about him, from what Christianity, evangelicalism, Mormonism, all of it, how they use Jesus for their agenda.
Yeah.
That most of the time really has nothing to do with what he was purported to be saying and doing in the scriptures.
Right.
Is he the one who was teaching equality and charity, kindness and love and oneness?
Or judgment,
and he cares
justice,
if you're masturbating, or he cares what you wear, or he cares what you eat or drink,
or what your sexual orientation is,
or who you love. That none of that stuff seems to jive with.
There's like radical acceptance Jesus, and there's harsh critical, like by the law Jesus.
Yeah. So what I'm gathering from the universal Christ is separating Jesus, the man, from Christ, the larger, more universal, more connecting.
Oh, I see. Archetype.
Yeah, the cosmic Christ.
Right.
Basically, Jesus as a man and Christ as the divine.
Right.
The Christ energy.
Yeah. So, like, is it more of an unbiased, like, these are the facts kind of a book, or is there?
It's definitely written from
a lens he's working from.
He's a Franciscan. He's of the Franciscan tradition, the Catholic Church, but he's definitely known for being more open-minded and accepting, and definitely seems to be more Christ-like than most Christians that I'm aware of.
Well, that's always nice.
He has a really lovely energy about him.
You feel like you can pick that up? Are you listening to it, or are you reading it?
He doesn't read the audiobook, but I've seen interviews with him, and he was on Pete Holmes' podcast, and Pete Holmes has been talking about the universal Christ quite a bit. He just seems like a really great man.
Yeah.
And so far, I'm liking his presentation of Jesus and a more universal understanding of Christ and what that really means. And it's much more about inclusivity rather than exclusivity.
Yeah.
And that we've gotten way off the map,
right,
as far as what the actual Gospels were presenting.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'll have to read that.
Mm-hmm. So, at some point, I'd like for us both, after having read it, to talk about that. And
yeah, I'd love that I'd love for that to be something that we do. Mm-hmm. Talk about exceptional books that we read on the subjects that we're interested in. So far, it's
definitely not jiving with Mormon Jesus.
Yeah, no, Mormon Jesus he's very particular. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got lots of good books.
Yeah.
We need to delve into.
I keep getting them. And I've read so much more in the last couple of years than I have in my life, but I still keep accumulating more than I
Not
have
a
read.
bad thing.
But I like having them.
It's like
I like to look at them.
Sarah Silverman talks about how squirrels can't find 80% of the nuts that they hide. Like we only read, 20% of the books we buy. But
I did spend
it makes us feel better.
too much money on a limited copy of Early Mormonism and the Magic Worldview by D. Michael Quinn. It's a red leather bound edition. I think there's only 200 of them.
That is a good looking book.
Yeah, it does look pretty cool. But
will it make you feel better if I read it?
Somebody's got to read it.
Somebody's got to.
Yeah, a lot more. I'm going to read, so after The Universal Christ, it'll be Joseph Smith, The Making of a Prophet by Dan Vogel.
What's that book series there? Looks like there's 2 volumes.
That is Joseph Smith Begins His Work. One is the original copy of the Book of Mormon, and the other is the original copy of the Book of Commandments. Before it was Doctrine
you don't
and Covenants.
say.
Yeah. Yep. It wasn't one and done. It evolved.
Part of me wants to read it. Part of me is like, I already read the Doctrine and Covenants cover to cover. Don't make me do it again.
A lot of it's apparently there's some significant differences.
It might be interesting to look into.
I'm sure there's comparison charts of what changed. And I know that some of it in, Book of Commandments is in totally different chronology. And Doctrine and Covenants, like in
as
different chapters and verses and stuff. Yeah. It's added to, taken away from, revised, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the Baijiu or the jet lag, but
it's probably all swirling up in there.
It's all hitting me at once.
Yeah, I look forward to getting back into it. So I think
me too.
We'll just put this out. We're recording this on Sunday, so we'll keep with our regular schedule and publish it this coming Sunday. And then I want to, like we did before, kind of record a few episodes before we start releasing them as season 2.
That's good.
So
get ahead of ourselves.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, like we
have some time to do some planning and gather some info.
Yeah, do a little research.
Yeah, but there'll always be an element of just conversation.
Shooting the shit.
Yeah, we'll just definitely shooting the shit.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to it.
Very glad that we don't have to do this remotely.
Yeah, that definitely would have been different.
Don't want to do it.
Don't want to. Nope. Not gonna do it.
Not doing it.
Not gonna do it.
I refuse. We got a lot of books to read. I'm so excited.
Yep.
I decided I need to have a pad of paper while we talk because I'll think of something, but I'm listening to you. So I'll write it down so I can come back to it. Because they're so slippery, those thoughts.
Yep.
They come and they go as they please.
Oh, yeah. Good one.
And there it goes. It's always very sad. The next book I'm reading, starting tomorrow, is 21 Lessons for the 21st Century.
Oh, you haven't started that yet?
I haven't actually. By Yuval Noah Harari.
Yeah.
Is that how you say that? Sapiens was so good. Blew my mind last year. So
that's on my list.
Kind of work on that next book.
Yeah.
He's written another one, too, that I need to get my hands on.
Homo Deus?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Good job. Yeah. I bought that book. I bought 21 Lessons in Hong Kong. That was my souvenir. Has nothing to do with Hong Kong. But bought it while I was on soil. So
yep. We're going to get into it. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and say now that season 2 will come in March. I think that's a good goal for us. It gives us time to get it going and prepared.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Here it is.
Siblings in Zion.
We back.
Season 2, March 2020.
Yeah, yeah.
Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, pew, pew. Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. We're going to get something else to drink besides this stuff.
Yeah. Watch out.
Yeah.
You're trying to watch out.
Well, we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks for listening.
We wish you well.
And a happy new year.